Public speaking is an art. You sculpt the concept of your piece with your mind, and then you express it with your voice. This sounds simple enough, right? The hard part is putting the words and the voice together. You can memorize the piece all you want and practice, but when the audience comes, sometimes the words won't. Discomforts like these come all the time, sometimes at more unfortunate times than others. But due to an experience with public speaking, I believe that even when life is uncomfortable, always finish what you start. Never stop something just because it is painful. There are two stories in which this belief is strongly evident. In one of them, I failed. In the other, I withheld the burdens and achieved my goal. A few months ago, the phenomenon of lack of words happened to me. I spent weeks working on my speech. An oratory, it was called. Typically, oratories are 10 minutes of original, memorized speech on a persuasive subject. Mine was about sphagnology, the scientific study of peat moss. Where is this going, you might ask? Yes, this topic was quite random and, in my opinion, hilarious. But the point of the story is that I never presented it successfully. I wrote the speech, practiced it until my lips wouldn't be able to say sphagnology, sphere, or sphinx, and was prepared to compete with it. My competition was infinitesimal, with only 3 other contestants and a medal for each of us at awards. I was almost destined to do well. Then came the first round. I knew I would have to say the speech at least 4 times, once for every judge so that the ranking would be fair. Entering the room, I found only one audience member. She was the judge, and all of the other contestants were late. "You can go ahead and begin," she said. I wasn't prepared for this. Having to talk to a group of people isn't bad, but just one person makes it worse. It limited my speaking devices and made the entire experience awkward. With my mind occupied, I boldly said the first line. Have you ever wanted to be something when you, grow up? You dolt, my mind thought. The line was supposed to be, has anyone ever told you that you could be anything you wanted to be when you grow up? I went through the entire speech just like that. First, I said a wretched line, followed by a pause in which my mind tells me how I originally wrote the line. It turned out to be 13 minutes, which was over the limit, of stutters and inapplicable words. To put it delicately, the experience was not pleasant. After a horrid walk of shame to a seat of the room, my 3 contestants came. Out of charity, I remained, so at least they could have some more audience than I did. But it was evident that I didn't need to stay. Their speeches were perfect. They were accurately memorized and spoken without doubt. It was then I decided to drop out. I didn't care about the prizes or the penalties. All I knew was that I did not want to do that again. So I did. I left without saying a word. A few months after that, I agreed to enter another tournament under another event. This event, too, was a 10-minute original speech, but I got to use boards like a slideshow. There was a larger audience this time, and I didn't stutter as much. After 4 rounds of presenting, in which all of my attempts were as close to perfect as I could get, I went to finals. This meant that no matter how I did, there would be a medal with my place and event engraved on it just for me. 4th place was my status. This same medal would have been mine 3 months earlier, but with oratory written on it instead of expository. I thought of this medal as a redemption. I didn't have to be ashamed for dropping out anymore. However, I will always regret dropping out of the oratory competition. Now that I know what it feels like to finish my task in the slideshow event, how the hard work and stress all come together and pay me back, I want that from my peat moss speech. Always finish what you start, even when life makes it complicated. I didn't always hold true to this, but I wish I had. I gave much time and effort to create the peat moss speech. I dropped out because it was hard, and to me, plain torture. It was excruciating to speak for 13 minutes without being able to remember the speech. If I could only have gone through it just 3 more times, all of my troubles and my pain would have rewarded me. I would have been able to finish. I believe that we owe it to our tasks to accomplish them. Whether it be a war, a class, or even a negotiation with the man at the tourism stand, it is better to have a finished job than one that isn't. If we complete these things, we can repair the world's economy, become fluent in that other language, and even get that promotion we've been striving towards for months. After all, life is not just about wanting. It's also about achieving. Sadly, I walked away with a dangling task that would never be finished. When I found another goal, I did reach it. I put as much time and effort into the slideshow as I did with the oratory. What made it different was my ability to hold out until the very end.